Let's go into the document you have. There is actually an audit report from Deloitte about all the operations of the National Cathedral in terms of the expenditure and what has been done so far and what the taxpayer needs to know.
Okay, so yes, indeed. The National Cathedral of Ghana, as you know, it's a trust. And so post the report of Deloitte and Touche, they have decided to put up a presentation reflecting what Deloitte and Touche has found out, and then also adding up to the facts and figures as presented by the Deloitte report. And so if you look closely at the presentation, you would see that they talk about disbursements. Now, a careful look at it will tell you that so far the state has invested up to $58 million into the project. And that $58 million is 17% of the total cost that is expected to be used in building the cathedral, together with the museum, the Bible Museum, which is now attached to it. So on the page, you see total payments made to contractors. And it says CD equivalent of $26.3 million. And so that is what has been paid to the contractors out of the 58 million. Then total payments made to consultants and design team is equivalent of 135 million Ghana cedis. So paid to engineering services, architectural designs by David Ajayi and Associates and all those stuff. That's the second payment. The third payment is total payments made to the Bible Museum and Biblical Garden Design Team, and that amounts to about $4 million. And then the audit by the Deloitte team 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 shows that monies from the states are accounted for. They were disbursed on the basis of contracts and or agreements, copies of which were presented to the auditors. So you go to the graphics and you would see that the graphics that are added to this presentation are signifying the various payments that have been made to the contractors.
And let me just say that for those of us following on Facebook, we have the graphical representation on our stream. You can go there and follow the discussion while we continue here on the radio. You can go ahead.
Indeed. All right. So you go to the next presentation and you see there it talks about total payments, including direct payments by government of Ghana, totaling about 343 million and 28,175. And there's a breakdown of the payment to consultants, 33%, 113, to associate David Ajayi and Associates, which is about 12%, 42,652,442. You would see payments to, I think that the word would be Ribadi, as the main contractors, 46%. That is 156,606,000. And then also payments to the museum team, the Nehemiah Group and Bible Museum team. That's also about 9%. And so, carrying on, you would see the summary. So if you come to the summary of the National Cathedral of Ghana status, you will see they put into bracket $58 million. Now, that bracket is the total amount of money that the state has spent on the entire project.
And this amount of money is the bone of contention that has generated controversy. The $58 million.
Yes. And there were speculations that the $58 million has been misappropriated or some people did not do their work well. Now, Deloitte and their research and their audit is proving that all the monies have been accounted for and accounted so properly according to the Deloitte outcome. So you see from this page that the 45% of the $58 million has gone to the appointment of design team, the lead architectural team, which is obviously David Ajayi and Associates and all that. They have taken about 45%. And then the 9% of this money has also gone into the design of the Bible Museum and the Biblical Garden. And then 46% has gone to the main contractors, Ribadi, as I'm calling it. It's a Ghanaian-Italian joint venture which is undertaking this project. So 45%, 46%, 9% of the money has gone to these various categories of representation. And you would see that the audit report in summary is essentially saying that all state funds from inception to date accounted for, all disbursement based on agreements and or contracts, and all payments made for work completed and certified. So it is extremely important to just take note that usually payments are made when work is completed, or when you have made full payment. You must be able to justify that the payment you have made, there is work to show that this payment can be made. So for the payments they are making or they have made, they said that if you look at the project initiation, it is 100% complete, and so it's been paid for. If you look at the project brief, it's 100% complete. That has also been paid for. If you look at the concept / schematic design, that is also complete. That's also been paid for 100%. And you look at design development, that is also 100% complete. That's also been paid for. Then you look at construction documentation, they are saying that it is 95% complete, and that has also been paid for. And then you look at tender, which is the contract with main contractor, which was signed on the 29th of October 2021. That obviously has also been done. But along the line, they had to do some design review. So they did design review 1, which was the museum extension. And then design review 2, which was the restaurant that was attached to the facility. They are saying that both of them, in terms of the design review, have also been completed. And so that has also been paid for as part of the entire process. They go on to list all the architectural and consultants, or the architects and consultants that they are using for the project. So full disclosure of all of them, they are listed. We cannot go through all of them, but if you are minded, we will share this presentation on our website so you can see and all the names.
We'll break it down for you so that you can have an understanding of it. But so essentially what the audit report is saying that contrary to the controversy of misappropriation, the audit report establishes that there is no such thing.
So there is a contract. The contract was signed between the parties involved, with the National Cathedral of Ghana being one party and the contracting parties also being there. So there are 3 different levels of payment. We've talked about the architectural design, which is say David Ajayi, and then we've talked about the payment to those who designed the Bible Museum, which is an extension of the project. Then we have come to talk about the 3rd level of payment, which we talked about initially, which also has to do with payment, which is the 46% of the payment to the contractor. So there's a difference between the designer, the architect who designs, and then the contractor who is on the ground building. So the contractor has been paid 46% out of the $58 million. The designers were paid 45% out of the 58 million. And then those who had to add the new additional design, which is the Bible Museum, also were paid their monies, and it amounted to 9% of the 58 million. So the 58 million, as we are talking about, has gone to 3 different establishments or 3 different entities. First to the designer, the architect. Second to another design or the design build on because of the upgrade of the program of the project, and then the contractor who is on the ground building. Now again, notice that this $58 million is 17% of the total cost. So if you look carefully, the National Cathedral is projecting that the entire project is going to cost about $345 million. Yes. So the National Cathedral of Ghana is to be built at an estimated cost of about $345 million United States dollars. The cathedral itself, $265 million. The museum, $80 million. If you add the two, that is when you get the $345 million. I see that our support is trying to get to that page. Yes, you can go on to page 16. That is where you find the information that I'm sharing. So if you do the mathematics, that 58 million that the state has invested, it actually amounts to 17% of the total cost.
Over
345 million. So what it also means is that you are left with 83% of the cost for this project. And this 83% of the cost of the project, the National Cathedral is actually showing how they are going to raise that money. So if you go to, and that is what I will end with, if you go to the latter part of the presentation, you will see the process by which the cathedral intends to use in raising the rest of the money. So they are saying that they are going to be going on some kind of outreach. So fundraising strategy. You will see mass mobilization, launch of star 979 hash, 100 Ghana Cedi Club, and then they have a number 0555750000, and it's a merchant number. It's one of the ways by which they are doing mass mobilization. Then the second one is so you go to page 22. The second one is church mobilization and fundraising. So they are going to go to, apart from the mass mobilization, they are also going to church mobilization and fundraising. So they are saying that with that National Cathedral Week, church budgetary allocations, and individual Christian giving. So these are strategies by which they are looking at raising the remaining 83% of the cost of building the cathedral. The next one is private sector mobilization, and that they are talking about the National Cathedral of Ghana Business Roundtable, National Cathedral of Ghana Business Institutional Funding is the third leg of the process. Then they talk about international mobilization. International mobilization, they are talking about Ghanaians in the diaspora and international donors. And then they end by saying that raise for the project. And these four different categories of mobilization strategy is what the National Cathedral of Ghana intends to use to raise the rest of the 83% of the total cost for building this project. So, I mean, quite frankly, if you ask me, it's like the project which they say is 8% complete is quite clear, because the amount of money you need, you have only invested 17%. And the chunk of it, which is the 83%, has not been raised, has not been invested by the state. Now, the National Cathedral of Ghana has this strategy to raise monies, and these processes have already been going on. So the fundraising process is already going. I know they've had a diaspora meeting some time ago. I know they've launched this star 979 hash merchant number and all those kind of things. They've done all of it. So just know that so far, the National Cathedral project you see there, we have spent $58 million, but it amounts to 17% of the total cost of the project. And the project is 8% complete. So you are left with about 92% to complete. So 83% of cost left, 92% of work left to be done.
92% of work left to be done, but the numbers that they announced that people can contribute, again, the question is that sustainable to be able to raise the 83% that is needed for the completion of the work?
Well, so if you look at the four arms, mass mobilization, you can raise some money there.
Okay.
For me, the most important part of it is actually church mobilization and fundraising. If you take a look at all the churches in Ghana, particularly, let's even take Accra. So, which are the churches? Church of Pentecost. Check all Church of Pentecost. They're able to mobilize money and build. So, Church of Pentecost, every branch church you go is institutionalized. They've raised money locally and they have built their church buildings. Go to Lighthouse Chapel. Action Chapel. Which other one? My church, Victory Bible Church. Go to Sam Cranch's church. I think Royal House.
But Will,
Yes.
don't you think that because of the controversy surrounding the construction of the cathedral and how people have been opposed to it, and the mass mobilization which you say that would be in churches for people to just free will given, right? How would they be able to do that, to be able to raise?
So it's not, it's mass mobilization is different from church mobilization. If you look at the church mobilization,
Right.
do you see that they said church budgetary allocation? You see,
And
if you look at the,
fundraising.
yes,
Yeah.
church budgetary allocation. So what they are trying to say is a strategy. You are going to all the churches in Ghana. So for example, let's assume that there are 100 churches in Accra, or the headquarters churches are 100 in Accra. And every one of the 100 churches is saying that on monthly basis, we will budget, let's say, 20,000 cedis for the National Cathedral times 100. That is 2 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
So what you are saying is that if all the churches in Ghana, in Accra alone, okay, decide that every month they will contribute 20,000 Ghana cedis to the National Cathedral on monthly basis, if the churches are 100, I know they are more than 100, but if they are 100, that means that you are talking about 2 million Ghana cedis a month. 2 million times 12 is 24 million Ghana cedis. 24 million Ghana cedis. Let's say the interest rate, the exchange rate is, let's just say it is 12 cedis or so. It means that you are talking about $2 million. Okay, so we need 345 million dollars to be able to complete the project. If our churches decide that they are contributing 20,000 every month for 12 months, every month or a year, we could be able to raise about $2 million from our churches alone.
Right.
So that is just one leg. Church mobilization and fundraising, and that is church budgetary allocation. There's National Cathedral Week. There's individual Christian giving. So this is individual Christian giving. There's mass mobilization. Anybody, Christians, non-Christians, can decide to contribute. Then there is also private sector mobilization. So it is possible to do this over a period of time if people are going to commit to this fundraising strategy.
Yeah, and finally, before I let you go, I want to find out, indeed, if the audit raised any discrepancies in the accounts. Were there any discrepancies raised in the account?
No. So for the Deloitte report that they bring, and notice that Deloitte is an international audit firm. They do a lot of scrutiny to whatever documents that you bring them. According to their own report, they are telling us that everything that they found out, every payment that has been made was made based on contractual arrangements and agreements. And so there's no discrepancy unless you have a problem with the contract. So, for example, if, say, David Ajaye, who is the, in fact, I told you that there's been 3 payments. Architecture, design for 2, the Bible Museum and for the cathedral itself, and then payment to the contractor. So there are agreements between the parties. If you have a problem with the 46% of the 58 million paid to the contractor, then you are going to have to take the contract, analyze the contract, and see whether the payment made to the contractor is not justified. But in terms of the payment, it was made based on an agreement.
Right.
Yes. And so you cannot fault it, really.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. Wilberforce Asare, Head of Legal and Political Desk here at Asaase News, giving us the audit report that has been released by Deloitte of the National Cathedral. Indeed, saying that the financial records are clean. They found no adverse findings in the meticulous record keeping, as they would like to put it.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.